You could tell he was nervous, and he said it in the courtroom.
Diddy trembles in court as new surveillance footage emerges in Kim Porter case. In a shocking courtroom twist, newly surfaced surveillance footage has reportedly shown Sean Diddy Combs entering Kim Porter's room just hours before her untimely death in 2018. The footage, presented during a recent court proceeding, has cast new doubts on the officially declared cause of death and reignited long-standing speculation. Kim Porter, Diddy's ex-girlfriend and mother of 3 of his children, was found dead in her Los Angeles home in November 2018. The Los Angeles County coroner ruled her death as caused by lobar pneumonia, listing the manner as natural. However, rumors of foul play have persisted ever since. Now, with Diddy facing mounting legal troubles related to abuse, trafficking, and other serious allegations, the circumstances surrounding Porter's death are being scrutinized with renewed intensity. The newly revealed surveillance footage is said to provide a clearer picture of what happened that night, one that neither Diddy's team nor the prosecution saw coming. Adding to the intrigue, Al B. Sure, Porter's former partner and father of her son Quincy, has been outspoken in recent years. In a May 2025 interview on Fox 5 New York, he publicly questioned the official narrative, suggesting that critical details may have been overlooked or deliberately concealed. While the coroner's 2019 report officially closed the case, this explosive development could prompt a new investigation and potentially alter public perception of one of the music industry's most high-profile figures. Stay tuned. This story is far from over.
In the best of health. We just saw each other prior to her passing. We were actually celebrating our son's new Netflix Christmas special, and she was doing just fine.
Imagine being told that your healthy friend suddenly died of pneumonia. Wouldn't you have questions too? It's like saying someone who just ran a marathon died of exhaustion while casually sitting on their couch the next day. The math just doesn't add up. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has also raised questions in interviews, alleging that the investigation into Kim Porter's death was rushed. He pointed out how unusual it is that someone with Porter's resources would be completely unable to reach out to friends or family in a time of distress. Deal even hinted at a darker scenario, stating cryptically, "I don't really want to say what I really believe, because what I really believe is that they might have gotten into a little spat, a little fight, or something went down, and Puff did that play fighting stuff he always does, that pillow fighting stuff, and probably smothered her. But I wouldn't say that on the air." Let that sink in for a minute. That's a serious accusation, especially coming from someone who was on the inside. It's like if Alfred suddenly started spilling Batman's darkest secrets. When it comes from someone close, it just hits different. Now, here's where things get even more intriguing. There's been speculation about a mysterious figure being at Kim Porter's house on the day she died. Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's longtime boyfriend. A resurfaced photo allegedly shows Gamble at Porter's home before the coroner arrived. This has only fueled theories online, with many suggesting that Gamble might be a kind of fixer in elite Hollywood circles. The web of connections, business ties, and alleged cover-ups is dizzying. It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, except it's 3 degrees of someone who's seen Diddy do something sketchy. However, to present the full picture, Porter's family has consistently denied any suggestion of foul play. In September 2024, her children, Christian, 26, Jesse, 17, Delilah, 17, and Quincy, 33, released a joint statement affirming that their mother died of natural causes. They also called out as false any rumors that she was working on a tell-all book before her death. But things took another turn when, in 2024, a book titled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side was published. Authored by Chris Todd under the pseudonym Jamal T. Millwood, the book claims to be based on Porter's diary, entries, and contains explosive allegations of abuse by Diddy. In an interview on The Art of Dialogue, Todd made dramatic statements, claiming he possesses recordings that could shake the entertainment industry to its core. "If I was to release those tapes, the world would shut down. If true, that would be like holding Hollywood's nuclear codes." The implications are massive. However, the book's credibility has come under intense scrutiny. Porter's children have publicly denounced it as fake, and many have questioned Todd's motives and the authenticity of his so-called evidence. What is undeniable is the growing pattern of allegations against Diddy. Perhaps the most damning piece of evidence so far is the surveillance footage from 2016, obtained by CNN, which shows Diddy physically assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, at a luxury Los Angeles hotel. The video is hard to watch. He's seen grabbing, shoving, dragging, and kicking her. Even Diddy couldn't deny this one. He issued a public apology admitting to the incident.
"My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. Disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now."
Let's be real for a moment. When a man who's built his entire image on being smooth, powerful, and in control is caught on camera physically assaulting a woman, it's not just a bad day, it's a mask slipping, revealing something far more, disturbing beneath the surface. The Cassie situation goes far beyond a single incident. In her lawsuit and testimony, she detailed years of alleged physical and sexual abuse. These included being coerced into acts she wasn't comfortable with, and a horrific claim of rape in August 2018. Her account is deeply painful and unsettling. A particularly troubling element in the case involves so-called freak-offs, private gatherings where, according to Cassie, boundaries were routinely crossed and consent was murky at best. Cassie even said she felt like a sex worker during these events, though that part of her statement was later struck from the court record. The question that keeps surfacing is, if Diddy was allegedly capable of this kind of treatment toward Cassie, what really happened with Kim Porter? There's more. Others in Diddy's orbit have come forward with corroborating accounts. Dawn Richard, a singer who worked with him, claimed he threatened to make her disappear after she witnessed him assaulting Cassie. That suggests a pattern of intimidation and fear. Cassie's mother, Regina Ventura, also testified. She said she became physically ill over the threats against her daughter and the fear that compromising material would be released. She even documented bruises on Cassie's body from Christmas Eve 2011, which she alleges came from beatings by Diddy. At this point, the evidence is stacking up. It's like trying to hide an elephant under a napkin. And then there's Kim Porter. While her official cause of death has been publicly stated, conflicting reports from those close to her continue to raise questions. Allegedly, there's a book that contains Kim's own words in which she accuses Diddy of physical abuse, including a violent incident where he supposedly broke her nose on a yacht. Former Bad Boy artist Mark Curry has made similar claims, stating outright that Diddy broke Porter's nose.
To make it seem like she slipped and fell. She slipped and fell and broke her nose. Nah, the truth was she slipped and fell and landed on his fist.
Chris Todd Curry made a deeply troubling allegation, claiming that Sean Diddy Combs wiretapped Kim Porter's phone. Curry characterized this as a clear sign of obsessive control, saying, "Anytime a man would go out of his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their home just to monitor their conversations, that's a sign of insanity." He described this behavior as not only invasive, but disturbing, comparing it to something out of a psychological thriller. According to Curry, this was just one example of a broader pattern of control and manipulation Diddy allegedly exercised over Porter. Even more unsettling are claims about what Porter may have discovered during their relationship. Reports referencing a now circulating memoir suggest that Kim Porter allegedly found videotapes in a locked bedroom vault belonging to Diddy. These tapes reportedly contained compromising footage. The allegations go on to say that Porter was, so disturbed by what she saw that she made copies for her own protection in case she ever decided to leave him. Chris Todd Curry claims he was later offered access to these tapes, including one allegedly involving a teenage pop star. He further alleges that Porter and some of Diddy's inner circle had access to the tapes and that there were even efforts to sell them to Hollywood producers for a documentary. If these claims are true, they could be explosive, exposing a dark web of power, secrecy, and manipulation. This isn't just about salacious rumors. It speaks to the power dynamics at play. The idea that someone would feel the need to archive and hide such material out of fear paints a chilling picture of control and coercion. These allegations also tie into the broader context of Diddy's current legal troubles. As of May 20th, 2025, Diddy is standing trial on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and the transportation of individuals for prostitution. These are extremely serious federal charges, and if convicted, he could face life in prison. The trial is now in its second week, and testimony has already sent shockwaves. Singer Cassie Ventura took the stand for 4 days, providing harrowing testimony about years of alleged physical abuse and coerced sexual encounters. The courtroom was reportedly silent as she recounted the trauma, with jurors visibly affected by her words. It's critical to understand the context of power in this relationship. Diddy signed Cassie to Bad Boy Records when she was just 19 years old. He had immense control over her career. Cassie testified that she spent 45 days in PTSD treatment in 2023 to recover from years of trauma, underscoring the psychological devastation she endured. What makes this all the more disturbing is that prosecutors are pursuing the case using the RICO statute, which suggests they believe Diddy's alleged misconduct was part of a broader, organized pattern of criminal behavior, not just isolated incidents. This brings us back to Kim Porter. The abuse and control described by Cassie raise serious questions about what might have occurred in Porter's relationship with Diddy. Mark Curry previously alleged that Diddy broke Porter's nose, an accusation that implies not just violence, but a potential cover-up. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, also made startling claims. He said that Porter once injured Diddy with a corkscrew in self-defense, allegedly causing an injury so severe that it led to long-term opioid use. When she split his wrist open, he had so much pain he never got off those opioids, Deal claimed. If true, this reveals a relationship steeped in violence and survival, not love or stability. Gene Deal also raised red flags about the circumstances surrounding Porter's death. He noted the absence of an autopsy, missing electronic devices, and the suspiciously early ordering of a gold casket. "How you order a gold casket 2 months before somebody dies?" he asked. Adding to the speculation, singer Al B. Sure, Porter's former partner and Quincy's father, called for a formal investigation into her death in a September 2024 post. He claimed that people working at Porter's home were allegedly instructed to steal her computer and mobile devices, which reportedly contained original notes for a book she was working on. These allegations connect back to the reported tapes. If Porter really had evidence of Diddy's behavior, there could have been strong motives to erase any digital trace following her death. However, there is a stark divide in the narrative. Porter's children, Christian, Jesse, Delilah, Diddy's biological children, and Quincy, her son with Al B. Sure, later adopted by Diddy, have consistently denied any foul play. In a joint statement, they said, "While it has been incredibly difficult to reconcile how she could be taken from us too soon, the cause of her death has long been established. There was no foul play." This creates a complicated emotional and legal situation. Porter's children, all of whom were raised or cared for by Diddy after her death, are defending the official version of events. At the same time, former associates and others close to the situation continue to raise serious allegations. The situation becomes even murkier with additional claims by attorney Ariel Mitchell, who has stated publicly that 3 explosive tapes exist, allegedly involving Diddy, and multiple A-list celebrities. If these tapes exist and are verified, they could have serious legal and reputational consequences.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes.
She also mentioned
There already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood.
When asked about a particularly high-profile individual who might appear on the alleged tapes, a source confirmed that Mr. Combs was indeed on them and hinted that another person involved is even more high-profile. If these tapes exist, they could help explain why some individuals in Hollywood might have been motivated to protect Diddy or help cover up his alleged misconduct. It's the ultimate form of leverage. If I go down, I'm taking everyone with me. And speaking of cover-ups, let's not forget the federal raid on Diddy's properties, the Homeland Security raid. On March 25, 2024, Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent Gerard Gannon testified about the raid on Diddy's Miami Beach mansion. The estate, a sprawling 20,000-square-foot property, required 80 to 90 agents to thoroughly search. Among the items seized, lingerie, platform heels, parts of AR-15 rifles, and loaded magazines with scratched-off serial numbers. This points to the vast resources and infrastructure Diddy had at his disposal: multiple massive homes, private security teams, and the kind of influence that could potentially be used to manipulate or suppress damaging situations. The defense's stance: Diddy's legal team doesn't deny his volatile behavior. They acknowledge his temper and describe his past relationships, including with Cassie Ventura, as toxic but consensual. Their argument? While disturbing, his actions don't meet the legal threshold for sex trafficking or racketeering. In other words, the classic bad relationship defense. Yes, things got messy, but nothing criminal occurred. However, when multiple women come forward with nearly identical stories and video evidence of physical abuse surfaces, the defense begins to fall apart. Allegations of freak-offs and Kim Porter's memoir. One of the more disturbing elements of Cassie's testimony involves alleged freak-offs, exclusive private gatherings that reportedly involved explicit activities where consent was questionable. Cassie described feeling like a sex worker during these events. Similar claims surfaced in an alleged unpublished memoir by Kim Porter. According to reports, Porter referred to Diddy's parties as intimate gatherings that everyone in the industry wanted to attend. The book allegedly included encounters involving celebrities, including one well-known married woman. The role of financial settlements. Cassie Ventura reached a $20 million settlement with Combs in a lawsuit involving sexual assault allegations. Separately, she also received $10 million from the hotel where one of the incidents allegedly occurred in 2016. These enormous settlements raise serious questions about how far Diddy may have gone to keep other incidents out of the public eye. They also underscore the immense financial power he wielded, resources that could be used to silence potential accusers. But this time, it might not be enough. Sources claim that Diddy is now facing scrutiny from individuals and institutions far more powerful and with personal motives to bring him down. The Hollywood problem. Hollywood has a long history of protecting its own. We've seen it with Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, and others. In Diddy's case, his influence wasn't limited to music. He had ties in fashion, alcohol, television, politics, and beyond. That level of clout acts like a shield, making it extremely difficult for victims or witnesses to come forward. Think about it. If you're a young artist who sees or experiences something unsettling involving Diddy, who do you tell? Record labels that depend on him? Media outlets that need him for stories? Friends who benefit from his lifestyle? The system is built to protect the powerful, not the vulnerable. The Diageo lawsuit? A turning point? Some believe the unraveling of Diddy's empire began when he filed a lawsuit against Diageo, one of the world's largest liquor companies, in May 2023. Diddy accused the company of racial discrimination, claiming they marginalized his Sriracha, vodka, and De Leon tequila brands by limiting their market reach. In June 2023, Diageo ended their 15-year partnership with Diddy, calling his actions bad faith. Diddy fired back in October 2023 with a new lawsuit accusing the company of retaliation and blackballing him from the spirits industry. But by January 2024, both sides announced a surprise settlement. Diddy dropped all claims and dismissed his lawsuits. However, according to rapper 50 Cent, this legal battle might have triggered something much bigger. In an interview on The Earn, Your Leisure podcast, 50 Cent suggested that Diddy's troubles intensified following the Diageo lawsuit. The implication? Diddy may have picked a fight with a corporation and possibly a system with more reach and power than even he could manage.
Great for us to work for them. It's not so cool when you start to own things. You see what I'm saying? So I made a lot of money with them too. Like, there's a point, they did a deal that mirrored what Puffy's deal with Diageo was for Ciroc. So he didn't have ownership of that anymore.
50 Cent appears to be implying that by targeting a powerful corporate entity like Diageo, Diddy may have disrupted the very network of protection his status and industry connections once provided. It's as if he poked the bear, and the bear, in turn, withdrew its shield, leaving him exposed to new threats. Of course, this is all speculation, but it raises intriguing questions about the power dynamics within the entertainment industry. These same forces that may have shielded Diddy for years could now be turning against him as alliances shift. Another figure who's been outspoken about Diddy is Jaguar Wright. She has suggested that he might be connected to the mysterious deaths of several of his close associates.
Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only two left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
There appears to be a troubling pattern, one that, if true, is deeply disturbing. Heavy D passed away in 2011, reportedly from a heart attack. Andre Harrell died in 2020, also reportedly from a heart attack. According to accounts, both men were working on books before their untimely deaths. Al B. Sure allegedly fell into a coma while working on a memoir about his life, though he fortunately survived. Then there's Kim Porter, who some claim was also working on a book before her death. Are these simply tragic coincidences, or is there something more sinister going on? It's the kind of pattern that makes you pause, raise an eyebrow, and start. Connecting dots like you're staring at a conspiracy board. And speaking of connecting dots, let's consider how these incidents might relate to Kim Porter specifically. When we examine the allegations that have surfaced about Diddy, claims of physical abuse, controlling behavior, and threats, it inevitably raises questions about his relationship with Porter and the circumstances surrounding her death. Although Porter and Diddy had ended their romantic relationship years before her passing, they remained closely tied through their children. Still, if the accusations against him are accurate, they paint a picture of a man who doesn't take rejection or separation lightly. This leads us back to the alleged memoir. According to some reports, Porter had written, "I got to do things with Shaw I would never have been able to do with a straight man. I woke up and left the bedroom where I was, and Shaw happened to be coming out of the bedroom with a chart-topping rapper and the woman's husband." The memoir reportedly also described incidents of physical abuse, including the first time Diddy allegedly hit her after she refused his requests, and another instance in her apartment where he allegedly slammed her to the ground and threatened her with a weapon, saying, "You're mine. You don't have a choice in that now. I can't live without you." If these claims are true, they suggest a controlling and abusive relationship, eerily similar to the testimony Cassie has provided. It also raises the unsettling possibility that Porter's death may have been connected to what she knew or was preparing to reveal. If Kim Porter did endure abuse at Diddy's hands, as the disputed memoir suggests, she may have been grappling with the same difficult decision many survivors face, whether to speak out. And if, as Al B. Sure has implied, she was planning to tell her story, well, that adds yet another chilling layer to an already haunting pattern. Diddy's fall from grace, a stark descent from fame to federal prison music mogul Sean Diddy. Combs, once a symbol of success and luxury, now faces a harrowing reality behind bars. Held at Brooklyn's notorious Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, since September 17, 2024, Diddy is awaiting trial on charges including racketeering conspiracy, exploitation, and financial misconduct. His incarceration marks a dramatic shift from his former life of glamour, wealth, and influence. The founder of Bad Boy Records, Diddy was arrested after a months-long federal investigation involving raids on his properties and the seizure of digital evidence. Prosecutors allege a pattern of organized criminal activity, tax evasion, and serious human rights violations. Among the accusations is a disturbing lawsuit from Thalia Graves, who claims she was sexually assaulted by Diddy and an associate in 2001. She alleges the attack was filmed and sold as pornography, leaving her traumatized for decades. Diddy's time in MDC Brooklyn has revealed the stark contrast between his former lifestyle and the harsh conditions of federal detention. The facility, which once held Ghislaine Maxwell and R. Kelly, is infamous for violence, unsanitary conditions, overcrowding, and inadequate medical care. Inmates have reported weekly stabbings and suicides, 4 in just the past 3 years. One inmate was even reportedly stabbed in the eye with a makeshift weapon. According to his attorney, Mark Agnafilo, Diddy has been struggling most with the prison food. Used to gourmet meals, he now faces bland, nutritionally poor offerings like overcooked vegetables and processed meats. His health and mental well-being have become a growing concern, leading to his placement on suicide watch. Despite offering a $50 million bond secured by property and surrendering passports, Diddy was denied bail. U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin Tanowski sided with prosecutors who argued that Diddy posed a significant flight risk and could tamper with witnesses. They cited his wealth, influence, and alleged substance abuse and anger issues as reasons for continued detention. Public interest in the case remains high. During a recent hearing, 6 of Diddy's 7 children and his mother appeared in court, showing solidarity as they filled 2 rows in the gallery. Diddy was seen blowing a kiss to his mother, maintaining a calm demeanor despite the gravity of the charges. Complicating matters further, New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who once honored Diddy with keys to the city, has now been indicted on federal charges related to campaign finance violations. His administration is under investigation for allegedly accepting illegal donations from foreign sources, particularly Turkey. The shocking allegations and Diddy's incarceration have sparked broader conversations about abuse of power in the entertainment industry, the facade of celebrity culture, and the systems that protect the powerful. With a trial date yet to be set and the spotlight firmly on him, Diddy's future remains uncertain, and his fall from grace stark and sobering.